Group. We're focused today on collaborating with Google Apps and Canvas. I think some of you might be new to Google Apps itself, so I have a little introduction to that I'll show you. But first, let's just introduce ourselves. I'm Justina Brown from the Center for Instructional Innovation and Assessment, and we've been collaborating with ATUS to do this Learning Technology Group session monthly for the last couple of years. Joining us today is, our featured presenters are Kevin Dixey of ATUS, as well as Steve Smith.
From accounting, the Steve Smith. Yeah.
Yes. So go ahead.
Not the football
If you can
player.
say what you're interested in today, too, that'd be great.
So I used some of the Google Docs features last quarter, and it's always interesting when you go to the tech guys and you walk in and they say, "This is really cool. No one's done this before." so
and you still went ahead.
Yeah, they still went ahead. And so I have some student data that came out of that process, and it's fairly positive.
I'm Jill Mount from nursing, the Human Services and Rehabilitation Department, and I'm just interested in learning more about Google Apps and how to use them in Canvas.
John Farquhar with ATUS, and one of my offices supports Canvas and Blackboard.
I'm Tasha Ritter. I'm the Assistant Director of the Writing Center, and we're just trying to figure out the different ways that we can use the apps for our purposes.
I'm Peter Agras, the Instructional Designer at ATUS, and I do a lot of the training for Canvas at this point.
I'm Jocelyn Hepburn. I'm a student employee at ATUS, and I'm just here to learn more about Google Docs.
I'm Laura Carney from AUAP, and actually it was the Canvas word that drew me here. I don't even know what a Google app is, so there you go. My colleague here was just about to show me. Yeah. But it was the Canvas word because we use Blackboard to, we don't use it for our courses, we just use it as a sign-up method for our volunteers, and we know that we're going to get switched over eventually, so anything with the word Canvas on it, I'm just kind of, okay, I got to get used to it. So, yeah.
My name's Evan Erickson, and one the new teacher for the AUAP program.
And he's our tech person. We go to him. He's our go-to person.
not very much, but I try.
Rander Blick, I'm the Learning Specialist for Extended Education.
Kevin Dixey, I'm the Instructional Technologist for ATUS, and I do most of the Canvas tech support, I guess, right now. Or a good portion of it.
Hopefully this won't show a commercial. Oh, good. Okay. And we have no sound?
Oh.
Yeah, I hear sound.
Home is where we keep the things we need. Whether it's a lawnmower or a coffee pot, it has a home in our lives. Of course, our documents are no different. For years, they lived on our computers. Each person has their own computer-based home for documents. When we need to share a document, we usually attach it to an email and send it to a friend's or coworker's computer home. Here's the problem. When you attach a document to an email, copies are created. Consider this. If you send an email attachment to 3 people, the same document will exist in 4 different places. That's a problem. There's a better way, and it means saying goodbye to messy email attachments. This new kind of home isn't on your computer. It's on the internet. And that makes sharing and collaborating on documents much easier and gives you full control over who can see and access your documents. Here's the basic idea. Instead of attaching a document to an email, let's switch it around and look at how we can attach an email address to a document. Meet Sam. Sam is the editor of a neighborhood newsletter called the Oak Tree View. She works with local writers who would like to publish articles in the newsletter. Sam loves her job, but often feels frustrated when time is wasted managing all the articles. It's a familiar problem. Each month, writers send her draft articles as email attachments. She reviews them and sends them back with comments. One article might create 6 different versions of the same file, not to mention countless emails. Sam often feels buried by all the email attachments. She finds it hard to keep track of all the versions being sent to her from the writers. As the deadline looms, frustration rises. Something has to give. Sam decides to try something new, Google Docs. Here's what happens. First, she visits the Google Docs page and creates a free Google account. She logs in, and because some articles were already written, she uploads the current drafts right from her computer. With a snap, Google Docs turns the offline articles into online versions. Now, all she needs to do is invite the writers to collaborate on the documents. Here's how. She clicks Share, inserts email addresses, and clicks Invite Collaborators. Google Docs sends the writers an email with a secure link directly to her document. One click, and they can edit and save the document online. This means that when Julie edits the document, Sam sees the changes immediately. Since there's only one document, there's never confusion about updates or versions. It's all saved, along with the past versions, on the website. For the first time, the articles all have a home, a single place for organizing and editing that is accessible from any computer with internet access. Problem solved. What's really cool is that this problem isn't just solved for documents, but also spreadsheets and presentations. All three can now have a secure home on the web that works exactly like Sam's documents. Sam is relieved. Without having to deal with attachments, multiple versions, and all that clutter, she can be an editor instead of a document master. And for the next newsletter, not a single email attachment is sent, and Sam beats the deadline by a week. Sharing documents made simple, and all for free. Google Docs rocks.
And then if I have one other that I thought was pretty fun to give you a sense of what a document looks like as it's being edited. So you have to give me a second to find it. There we go. Sorry for the commercial.
Okay, you're up, Kevin.
Awesome. Alrighty. So, I get to show you Google Docs and some other fun stuff. Alright,
So can I jump in?
Sure.
So as he's getting that set up, one thing I would suggest is set up a Google Docs. I went and set up one WW Smith, and so I can keep all my Western stuff separate from my personal stuff because I didn't want to get in, if anything ever came up and somebody wanted to get into my account, I wanted to keep those real separate. And I think those are, putting WW in front of your name is probably still pretty accessible. So I would suggest that if you're going to start thinking about using Google Docs.
Right. I had the same sense that I should have a separate account. When I started making stuff up for professors that were further class, I thought, oh, that shouldn't be on my account. So, but there's actually a bigger reason, too, that John and I were just talking about.
Yep.
Well, you know, there's statewide policies where people can be able to query what business that you have done, and it allows them to search your email and be able to release that information to the public in certain requests. And so if you have that mixed in with a private email account, then there's a possibility that the state would actually get the authority to look at all of your email and your personal email account. So yeah, you want to make sure that you've got separate accounts created. If you're going to use Google Apps for any university business, absolutely do what Steve said. Create an account that you just use for university business.
Google accounts are free, so it's quite easy to do. So I'm in Canvas right now. So Canvas, as you all probably know, or are all learning now, is our new LMS. We'll be switching over to it. And one of the nice features that I think Canvas has is that you can integrate fairly seamlessly with Google Docs, and actually some other services as well. So the first thing is, I'm going to go into this class I've created for this. We did a conference over the end of last week, and I actually presented on Google Docs there. So I'm going to use the same fake class, unless you can read. Oh yeah, this is my, it's called, instead of Lorem Ipsum, it's called Hipster Ipsum. So it's got things like flannel post-ironic food truck. So I have my fake syllabus in there. So when you come into Canvas, they're all pretty much set up the same way. You've got your menu on the side, you've got your settings for this particular class, and up here, you've got your global settings. That's what the green bar is. So these are the settings that will apply to all your Canvas classes. So the first thing you want to do, if you want to do something like this, you want to go up to the green bar. What you do is you hit settings up there, and that'll give you the ability to come in. You can change, sort of the basic stuff like come in and change your name and stuff like that. These are the email addresses and accounts that you have attached to it, and this is all pre-set up for you. You don't really have to change anything here. But on this page, if you scroll down a little bit, what you're going to see is these services. So in this case, I've already attached Google Docs, and unfortunately I didn't do it with a Western account. I just attached my Gmail account. I'll be switching that just as soon as we're done here. But you'll have all this list of accounts like Skype and Facebook and LinkedIn and such, and these can all be attached to your Canvas account, so you can authenticate to them. And all that really means is when you're working with Canvas, it'll do the authentication for you. You sign in once, and it'll handle the rest. So I attached my Google Docs account to this Canvas course. Now, just a caveat to that. It authenticates if you're working on your home machine or you're working on your office machine. It'll do that automatically. If you're working on one of the Western machines that automatically delete your cookies and stuff, you'll have to authenticate in each time anyway. And then the first time you do it, you typically authenticate in on Western machines. But like at home, I never have to worry about it. It just automatically pops in there. So I've set up Google Docs to be my Google Docs attached to this. So if you're going to collaborate with students, what you have to do is you set yours up. So it sets your Google Docs up. And then your students, if they're going to do it, they have to have a Google Docs account, and they have to do the same thing. They can go into Canvas and do the same setting, or they can go in and connect their account. So your accounts never commingle. You don't have any information crossing between the accounts, but each of you has to have your Google Docs account attached to Canvas. Now, you can do collaboration without it being attached in the Canvas. There's one really nice feature I'll show you, but it's helpful to have it connected. So after I've done that, let me go back to my course. All right. So I made this a fairly simple course. I have only a couple things here. I've got my home, my announcements, this thing called modules. I'll talk about why I did that, and then our collaborations. So first I want to go into collaborations, just kind of show you what's there. Collaborations allows me to set up a collaborative document right here in Canvas. All right? So in this case, I have a few already set up. I'll show you. But I'm going to create a new one to show you the process. This is pretty straightforward. I click on New Collaboration. So you have two tools that you have within Canvas that allow you to do stuff like this. You have this one called EtherPad. It's also known as TitanPad. This does not require anybody to have an account anywhere. It's all it's a web-based collaborative tool. You can just log in and collaborate on a document. It has some limitations. It only allows, I think, 8 users at any one time to use it. I think it's the max amount on it. And it's fairly limited. So think of it like basically just a text editor. That's all it does. And it's a very limited one. And I'll show you a TitanPad. Yeah, Dan?
No, not a...
Oh, it's a stretch. So you can come in here where it says Collaborate Using. You can choose what tool you want to use. Like I want to use Google Docs. I want to use EtherPad. So I'm going to choose Google Docs. At that point, you can give it a name and a description. And at the bottom, it'll have everybody in your class, and you can move them over. Now, this is admittedly a small class. Let's say I want to have Justina and John and Peter in the back all collaborate on it. Now, you as the professor setting this up, you always have access to these collaborative documents. You don't have to add yourself in. So if I want those 3 people, all I simply do is come over and click on it. Peter, John, and Justina. So now when I do that, as soon as I create the document, they'll all be notified. Now, presume that they all have their Google Docs set up. They'll all be notified that there's now a collaborative document, and they can go in and they can work on it. All right? So it's as simple as that. You choose, give it a name, a little description, choose the people, and then go down to the bottom blue button and say Start. So I've already got a couple documents already set up. So let me back up and show you. All right. So I got a few here. I'll show you the basic one. I created this glossary. AJ and myself did the presentation at Tacoma. So we created this simple glossary. And we're trying to think of something interesting for a presentation. So we thought, sure, let me log in. Oops. If I can remember my own password.
So it's important to see that even though you're logged in and connected
Right.
in Canvas, you still have to log in.
Yeah, now this is only the first time you have to do that, and that'd be for a campus computer. Once you set up like on your office computer or home computer, you don't have to do this again. Unless at any point you say go and you delete all your cookies or you erase all the stuff that's memorized by the browser. All right, so put this in. There we go.
Do you have to put the gmail.com in?
No, I don't. Actually, you don't. You can just
Okay.
use your login. It's like habit with me.
Okay.
So we created this document, which was Golden Age comic book sounds, because I happened to be reading comic book at the time. So we came in here, and it was things like all these great Golden Age sounds like throom and thwap and thud and whack. So it's just your basic editing page. But what's nice about it is it's very word-like. So you have control of things like bold. You can choose the font. You can come in here and do alignment. You can do spacing, lists, and that kind of thing. So it's a little bit beefed up from just a plain old text editor. All right, not quite Word, but it does give you a fair amount of functionality. So I can come here and create this. I also have the ability to come in and do hyperlinks, and this right here is comments. And you see a comment on the other side here. See if I can open it up for you. This comment was about the picture of the Hulk, and I don't think it is. I think I hit it. Let's open up. So I could come in and comment on the picture of the Hulk, and I could say, does Hulk have to be, so angry? So I can put in a comment. All right, and then that would be attached to this document. Now, one of the things that's nice about Google Docs is multiple people can be on the document at once. So John and Justina, we could all be on it at once. You can see these things being corrected. They'll all be listed who it is, what time, and what it is. And then let's say if Justina logs on, she'll have a couple other options, which is, do I respond to this? You can add a response to it, or do I correct, do I cancel it, or fix it? So then she can come and say, okay, I can do this or that. So it allows me to come in and do this kind of document. Now Google Docs is more than just word processing. It also gives you presentation, kind of like PowerPoint, and it gives you, a spreadsheet, kind of like Excel. Now, none of them is as full-featured as what you'd find in Office, but we also find that for, let's say like 85 or 90% of what most people use these tools for, it tends to provide almost all the tools you would typically need. Like I wouldn't say, write a full dissertation in Google Docs, so it has been done, because there's a lot of tools that come in the bigger packages, but it's a great one for working on stuff and collaborating. So right now, this is open to everybody who I've invited to this. Now you can also, when you're in Google Docs, you can share, you can invite more people to it. You come in here and you can add people and say, oh yeah, I want to share it with some additional people. Add in their email addresses, all right? So you have the ability to expand that. Now, Google Docs just by itself can do this kind of work, can do this kind of sharing, okay? But what's nice about doing it within Canvas is it's connected now to Canvas. And I'm going to show you how I work that out, because I also wanted to make it an assignment, all right? So I'm in here, I can work on this. I'm going to go into one of my other collaborations a little bit better. I think it was this one. So this one right here is a little bit more, I got this poster from John's wall. And it's a search for the Cascade Octopus. Now I've come in here, and if AJ, who I had collaborated in this, had some comments, he also right here linked another Google Doc as part of a comment. Like, hey, I want you to go look at this as part of a comment for that. So you could link additional information to it. So it's fairly flexible. In fact, one of the things we did on it, which is pretty cool, down here on the bottom, and I can't do it right now because we set it up for this one event, but right here we actually linked a Google Hangout. Has anybody here used Google Hangout? You want to explain what Google Hangout is, everybody?
Well, it's a live video conference.
Like a video conference chat. So what we did is we had a Google Hangout connected to a comment set for a certain time that would just fire up and say, oh, okay, and then you could collaborate on a comment. You could say, oh, here, let's do a Hangout. Let's talk about that because I have an idea. Can't quite put it into words, but let me explain it, or I want to show it to you. Here, I got a live octopus. Here, let's see, look, Speak is in the wrong place, or however you want to do that. But it gives you some flexibility how you can pull that off. All right? So this is one way to approach this. Right? Now here we got a link put in here. We get graphics in here. We've highlighted the tags. We've gone and created some styles. So it's fairly flexible. So now, when you're done with the Google Doc, after you've gone through and everybody has come through and made some comments, made some changes, you have the
question. So what if you've put this up and I want to go in and delete a paragraph, or I want to add a paragraph? How does that?
I'll show you what happens.
Does that lose? Does it lost completely, or?
So let's say I come in here and I think, oh, endangered species, yeah, it's all nonsense. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Now Google Docs automatically saves. You don't have to do any saving. And you'll notice right up here it'll say, all changes saved on the drive. It saves every few seconds. So you go and delete that. Now let's say I've deleted that and you get on and you're in an absolute rage because I deleted it and you want to, no, crazy, that has to come back. Google Docs has a really nice feature where you come over here, File, see Revision History. So I come to the revision history and it has all the revisions that have been done and who did them and at what time. If I want to go back, I simply click on that. I can see it's back, see the endangered species, what I took out, and you can also restore that version. And it goes back quite a ways. So you have the ability to always step back in your multiple revisions to see what had happened. I've had this happen before working on documents where you go off in a certain direction, you think it's a really good idea. Dan, as a writer, you know this. You start it takes up in a certain direction, and then like 2 days later, you're like, oh my God, what was I thinking? And you want to go back. This allows you to do that, to track back to a previous version, restore that, and then start from there. Okay, so you don't ever really and truly lose stuff. Now, in the context of a class, because some people say, okay, this is all fine and good, but what do I do with it then in Canvas? And that's kind of the other important part. Who said they were here for Canvas? Yeah, so how does this fit within the whole Canvas thing? Well, let's say I want to have students collaborate, but I also need them to hand something in. Okay. So what I've done, aside from creating the collaborations, I went into Canvas. Now, I put it in modules just because modules is they're like these empty boxes where I can throw stuff. And I found it a really convenient way to present information. So here I created two different files I want to show you. This first one, Best from Above. It's about the octopus, tree octopus. I wanted to make it something that people could hand in. Right? So a collaboration by itself, just a Google Doc and Canvas, is just a thing. It's not connected to an assignment yet. So I need to connect it to an assignment. So what I did, I click on that. I created this assignment, right? And it basically has, sift through the evidence, collaborate on the document, and that's a link to that Google Doc. Examining the claims that are arboreal cephalopod dwelling in Pacific Northwest forests, right? Got my description. Now, not only did I have that, let me open up the editing window and show what else I did. I created this, I gave it points, all right? I said I wanted an online submission, and I wanted file uploads, and I even gave it a format. I wanted it to be a PDF. That allows me to get something turned into me as an electronic file. So that's all set in here. I could even choose to make it a group assignment, which you can talk about as well. In which case, if I make it a group assignment, one person hands it in. Everybody in that group will then get whatever grade you give it will get populated to everybody in the group, right? So I created all of this, right? So when they're in this Google Doc and they've finished, what they need to do is come over to, let me close the revision history, the file, and it's going to be download as a PDF. So this allows me to download this file as a PDF, all right? Now you can see it down here at the bottom. I'm downloading it, and that PDF can then be uploaded to Canvas. Right? When I do, it becomes something that can be handed in. Right? So in Canvas, let me discard that. If I'm the student, so let me hop out of here and show you what the student would see. Student view. And this is a really handy thing about Canvas. It can actually let me go in and look at it like a student would look at it. So I'm going to go to this one file, modules. This is exactly what students see. They go to that assignment. And over here, here's a big top. Here we go. So, oh, I didn't put a date on it. I'm sorry, I didn't put a due date on it. Oh, I know what I did. Sorry. The assignment. Let me go in. Now, in my cleverness, I moved the assignments so they're not visible. Location.
Can I interject something?
Sure, go for it while I'm being
So
clever.
one thing that when you looked at that revision history on the document, one thing I used that for when I did my group collaboration was to look for free writers. So I went back and opened up, because I'm part of every group when I set it up on Google Docs, I was then able to open up that revision history and made sure that every student was participating.
Was that an easy thing to do, or was that pretty difficult within Google Docs?
Oh, it was easy.
It was easy.
Yeah.
You kind of have to go through each revision and take a look to see how often names come up.
Yeah, and I would even click on the revisions to see, if it was a the or
Yeah,
an
okay.
A to an and. But it was actually because it color codes it, some of it. So I clicked through it pretty quickly.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't go through and read real heavily everybody's contribution and how it fit into the paper and that type of thing. But I was just more looking that they were participating, and I found that really helpful.
Great.
So here, I had set this to be due on a date that's passed, so I just changed that. So I can show you. Due date. So now, if the student comes in, let's go back to student. There we go. That's my assignment. Yeah, there we go. So when they come in, oh, I'm sorry, I've locked this. Anyway, I'll talk about it. I locked the assignment. But anyway, when the assignment's not locked, when it's due, this is the button over here that says submit. All right? Just click that button. Up pops a little screen that says submit file. Right? And they can just go grab that file they've downloaded, submit it, and you're good. What happens when they submit it, what it'll do, it'll go into your gradebook. All right? And you'll have your column in your gradebook, and there'll be a little icon here that's the file. You just click on it, brings the file up, and you can grade it right within Canvas. So it gives you that kind of flexibility. And by allowing them to hand it in, it gives you a way to grade it and actually put something in here to grade. Now, there's another way, too, that you might want to have people collaborate. Let's say, and you can choose to make this an assignment or not, but let's say you want to use just a standard kind of Wiki page. Because one of the downsides of doing a collaboration is like, well, maybe I don't want to do a word processing document. I want to do something different. So you can also take a Google Doc and you can embed it on a page within Canvas and have it just show and live update. So what I did for that is I came in here and let's go back to the modules. Created this stats for the Republic of Cascadia. So now what this is, while it shows, is a spreadsheet embedded on this page. That's a Google Docs, all right? So I've shared it or created a collaboration, but I just embedded it on this page. I made this page a Wiki page, so people can add to the page. But they can also go in and go to this collaboration. If they change it, it'll automatically update what you're seeing in Canvas. This is a live update, right? So to do that, I simply was able to, what it's doing is you publish it to the web. So it gives you a URL, then you paste the URL into Canvas. And it works quite well. So this is a live updating, live thing that can be then part of a larger page. In this case, I'm going to edit this page. Down here at the bottom, only teachers can edit this page. If I change this to teachers and students, then it becomes a wiki page. So they can come in here, they can add anything to that page, and have this embedded piece on the top just constantly updated. And that could be anything. That could be a Google Docs presentation. It could be a text file, just like we did with the first one. It could be one of their spreadsheet files. All right, so that works with any one of their files. Let's see what else. I wanted to show you one other thing. I'm going to go back to collaborations just to give you sort of how they're a little bit different.
Can I ask one question?
No, sure.
So can you show how you did that again?
Oh yeah, the embedding?
Yeah.
Sure.
One of the things that I did in my group paper too, and I'll show you some of the results, is that students found very useful being able to read everybody else's paper. So I had them do a collaboration, and then after they got done, I posted everybody's paper online that they could read. And then they actually had to do revisions. I actually had one student copy another.
Peer editing kind of?
Yeah, we did some peer editing. I actually had one student copy another student's paper verbatim and ran into
Oh dear.
a problem. But
I like that in quotes too.
But for the most part, the students learned a lot from reading the other students' papers. And so why I'm asking about this, because this would make it easy for each group then
Sure.
to post their papers. Because that was, when I was going through, we were early on and hadn't figured this out yet.
Oh, sure. So I got a page. I just
Okay.
created a page. Now, it's a page, so you go
Right.
into the pages area and make it. That page can be put anywhere you want. It can be put in a module, but
Oh,
just I made a created page. I'm going to edit it. So what I did, see this switch views button?
yeah.
If I click on that, that gives me this,
Oh.
all right, that URL. Where I get that, let me go up to this page here, File. Now this is, it can work with any Google Docs.
Right.
So I'm in the Octopus one right now. So if I come in here, I just go File, Publish to the web, and you want automatically republish when changes are made. All right, you want that checked, all right, and then you just take this embed code right down here, copy that, and paste it onto that other page. That's all it takes, and it'll embed that document there. Now, when you do, just I want to show you one other thing about that. It brings it in tiny, all right? In the embed code, you're going to see this width and height. It usually makes it like 320 by 240, so it's a little teeny window. You can change it to whatever size you want. I just put 700 by 400, because I think that's approximately the size of that window.
Okay.
You can make it any size you want.
That's a great idea.
And it works great. I've done it multiple times. It's really quite simple.
Yeah, I had a really good use for that, where I set up a survey and then had it feed a Google spreadsheet, and then I embedded the spreadsheet in the class page. And it had the chart on it, so as people took the survey, they could go
The
back
chart
to
would
Canvas
update.
and it would automatically update.
Yeah, that's
Sorry?
cool. The
Yeah.
chart would update, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So the last one is an EtherPad. 'Cause some people ask me, okay, so what's the deal with EtherPad? How's it different? So I'll show you one. This is EtherPad. As you can see, it's a pretty straightforward, this text process, word processor text. It doesn't really do much. You can indent, you can do some bullets, and you get some colors. It does do one really cool thing, if I remember. It's times, it's a slider. Look. Yeah, this slider, what it does is it captures everybody who's gone in and worked on the document, and it captures this essentially as a video clip. So you can actually go back to a certain point and actually see what they did. You know, so come back here, and I believe it'll show me. There we go.
Keystroke by keystroke.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. You know, it's limited in some ways, but it's nice. And on the right-hand side, you can also download as different file formats. All right, so you can still have them downloaded as a Word or PDF and then hand that in. And this is kind of nice. You had someone say, well, this is valuable if you want to see exactly what the work they were doing. In Google Docs, you can't see it step by step like this, but you do see it in the revision history. There's different ways of approaching it. You know, I think they both have value. The biggest downside of this is it can do a max of 8 people collaborating on a document. So if it's a much larger collaboration, it really doesn't work for you. And it doesn't do real time.
I think I just read today that Google Docs can do 200.
Yeah,
Wow.
Google Docs is quite a bit bigger.
Wow.
And this one won't do real time. You can't. I've seen it work, but if you've got like 2-3 people on it once, it really bogs down. Or Google Docs will handle multiple people all on it once at the same time. And I think it's just the volume. They have a much bigger set of servers that they're dealing with, much more processing power. So it's, you know, it's just this different kind of tool. Also very valuable, and for certain situations, right? And it works fantastic. That's all I got. I'm you have questions?
So I'll start presenting some data.
Come on
so
up.
we can.
I'll take my popcorn away so it doesn't tempt you.
Yeah, it won't. So the document camera. So I did a lot of this. And again, I will start out and say, when they... All right.
It's
Yeah.
So I did a group assignment. And used a lot of these features. And again, it's always hard to even know. I can say nobody's done this before. So, so one of the things is that I had them do a group assignment in Google Docs, and then we downloaded it. I did paste everybody's group paper together, so everybody else could read it. We also did then peer reviews which you can also do in Canvas. There's a Croc Docs and SpeedGrader, which allows for inputting some peer review stuff, and that's really helpful.
Oh, and the peer reviews get to use the rubrics.
Right.
So using rubrics, they get attached to the peer review, so the student can use them as well.
Yeah, so they can see what you're looking at or what other people are looking at. And again, the funny thing is, I made this, this was a 600-point class. And this first paper, the original version was worth 3 points. If you did peer reviews, it was worth 2. And then the revised paper was worth 5. So the whole project was worth 10 points out of 600. And I will show you this real quickly, is that I asked people, did you take this assignment serious? Because it was such low points. Actually, by the way, I did this survey in Google Docs, and it was marvelous. Really cool. So 14% said, I didn't take this serious, low point value, slightly serious, but neither more nor less serious than other assignments. That's fair, right? So if we look at, neither more, if we look at moderately serious or very serious, that's 58%. And if you add in the neither more or less, which I would include, it's pretty high. So I got a lot of buy-in for pretty low point values. And one of the reasons I did that is these papers, they get failed a lot early on. And so I wanted to make them low stakes to get students to practice. And they did. So, which was nice. So we did the group assignment, and basically the question is, did you like it? Did you learn something from it? And again, a Likert scale, and 58% agreed. The 17% is neither agree nor disagree, and that's fine. So I look at these statistics as being fairly positive. They got something out of it. And from my perspective as an instructor, it was really easy. Because when Canvas, I went in and set it up, and it automatically put everybody in the groups, automatically. I was enrolled in everyone, so I could go in and look at every paper to see what everybody had done, see that they had contributed.
And Steve, did you check progress, or did you just really wait until they told you it was done and you were able to go in there?
I waited.
Yeah. But you certainly could check progress.
I could have.
And you have the revision history, so you can check progress after the fact, too.
Right, and I did. Yeah. It was all, I gotta be honest with you, it was all being done the night before.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure that's typical, but yeah, does that really promote the best collaboration? Yeah.
Right, and so, yeah, and that's, yeah, so. Again, I think reading other people's papers, which is, again, embedding and posting in a page. Yeah. Because the first assignment is a group assignment. The second assignment is an individual assignment. And actually, I hadn't known this before, and I posted every one. I downloaded them and then posted every one, 44 of them individually, and it was kind of a pain. But now I can set up pages and have each student post theirs own on a page, and that will make it so much.
Give instructions how to do it. They could do it very easily on a Wiki page.
Right. Really. And that was the other piece, too, I kind of asked. Well, I'll finish up with this. So reading other people's papers, if we look at, I should have that over here. So this is here. I should fold this, right? Reading other people's papers, agree, disagree, right? So reading other people's papers, strongly agree, was useful. So moderately and strongly agree were high. And if we include slightly agree, so 82%, almost 83% are saying reading other people's papers is hugely useful. So embedding this is going to be hugely valuable, I think. And then the last piece is we did peer reviews. And again, I got a fold again. We did peer reviews, and I will do some things differently. And again, you got 3 points for doing a peer review, which was low. I need to do some training on how to do a peer review, how to be a good commenter, how to help make a paper better. Well, a lot of the students are, well, I don't want to be rude, or I didn't want to edit somebody's work, and you know what, it's okay. I basically told them, if you're nice, you're not being helpful.
question about
Yeah.
the peer reviewing thing. As an ESL teacher, we don't like to go in and completely correct everything, like correct it for them.
Mhm.
We like to use little symbols like, hey, underline it and just go spelling, and then let them figure it out. Is there a program that can do that?
Yes. In Canvas, you can, I think Kevin showed that you download it as a PDF doc, a PDF, and a PDF will bring it up into CrossDocs, which is embedded in Canvas. And you have all those editing features.
Oh, really?
So you can highlight a section of text,
And just put question mark.
and then it will have, then you can put, a comment next to it. So, and it works wonderful. The one problem we ran into with the group paper is you had to do 2 papers of peer reviews. You had to peer review 2 other papers. And 11 groups, 44 students, so each paper had 8 commenters. It got unmanageable.
Yeah.
I mean, the comments along the side of the page were over here, and it was tracking back was hard. And so I learned something there. But it's a really nice editing tool.
And it works with PDFs, and we found out at Tacoma, it works with PDFs and all Office files.
What's the name of it?
It's a built-in grader within Canvas. It's called Speed Grader. So when you bring in either a PDF or any of the Office tools, it gives you this set of commenting tools built in, and you just so you can see an Acrobat or Word or anything else.
There's 2 little, and one confusion we got into is when you go into Speed Grader, it'll come up with the document that you're peer reviewing. You can click on peer review and bring those up. There's 2 little icons over to the right, or 1 little icon and then the PDF document. If you collect directly onto the PDF document, it brings it up into Adobe Reader.
Wait, I think I've got a PDF to show while you're talking.
Yeah, so it brings it right up into Adobe Reader so you can just read it. But if you click on the little icon to the right, then it brings it up into CrossDocs. And that was, we struggled through that.
What's that word? What?
CrossDocs.
CrocDoc.
It's actually
like crocodile.
Crocodoc.
Yeah.
Crocodoc? No?
CrocDoc.
Is it crocodile?
Yeah.
Crocodoc? I think it's Crocodoc.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
And that's just a viewer tool that's
Well,
embedded
switch
within
back to
Canvas.
PC.
Oh, wait till I find it.
Okay, so I will finish up here. So the peer reviews, and again, 58%, and it's a useful tool to use. I've always just done it in class on paper, and then turning stuff back it's just cumbersome, right? And even me trying to look at people's peer reviews to see if they did a good job. I could go back into Crocodoc. I could go back in there and actually look at people's comments. And so I could actually score them or see how much effort they put into.
All right, so here's a gradebook that I got, and when a file has been submitted electronically, it shows up as a little icon there. You click on the little blue thing next to it, that just brings it up, a little comment box. So I'm going to do that. This was uploaded, and it tells you, okay, here's the file. It's this social media education tool PDF. There's the rubric there if you wanted to see it. You can bring it up and look at it. All right. And when you do, it brings it up into this. This is the grading tool. This is the speed grader. I'm going to already messed it up, but this is the speed grader. It has the file here. It's got my rubric here. I can add comments here as well as on the document itself. Right up at the top, you see I've got this comment little buttons. So I can come in, and let me scroll down to where I haven't scrolled on it. If I wanted to make a comment, I could select. I could come over here. I could hit the comment tool and say I want to do an area comment. Select it, brings it up. Love it. I could come in, and I could say, let's do, what else? We could do a point comment or a text comment. I could actually insert some text in here. I could come in here. I could select stuff and do, I could do strike through if I wanted. Oops, didn't do a strike through. Let's see. What else? Oh, if I click on this downward facing arrow, it allows me to download the annotated file or the unannotated file, so I can choose which one I want to do. So it allows and the student can do this as well. You can grade it, but if you've got peer review set up, they have access to this same screen. It's a little smaller actually than peer review. So you switch down, but it gives you all the same controls. So if you connect your rubric to it, they have that. They have these same editing tools. And it doesn't affect the original one. There's this annotated version. You can always get the original file. And then here it tells you the file, tells you when it was submitted. If it was submitted late, it'll say there, submitted late. You know, and then over here, this is a separate comment that acts as like a conversation. So if you come over here and add a comment like, overall, you know, like the tone of it, use more work, something like that, then they can respond to this comment over here. So I've had students get back to me, oh, what didn't you like about it? At the bottom, you have 3 other options. You can attach a file. You can do a media comment, like you can just talk at it or do your video. And this last one is voice to text. So you just speak and it'll type it out. So, well, different ways to work with it.
And I have a colleague in the College of Business who does, on Papersall, does a video commentary. And he says it's just so much faster.
So Steve, you're talking about some confusion with the button icons.
Yeah, do you know how to...
I only see them in peer review.
Oh, in peer review?
Oh, the 2 icons he was
The 2
talking
icons.
about.
Oh, I know what it is. I don't know if I have a peer
Do you know
review
how to get
set
in
up.
there?
Yeah, I know what they are. It might even be in here as well. No, it's not. I don't think I have a peer
Because
review set
that
up.
took you right into Speed Grader.
Yeah, what it is, there's 2. I can explain. I'll have a peer review set up. But you'll have the name of the file. Well, I know how to do it. I know how to get something to show you. It'll be a window much like this. All right. In peer review, it's a window like this, and what happens is you'll have the name of the file like this. If you click on this, it'll download it.
Right.
Over here, there's another little icon with a magnifying glass on it. That's the one that gets you to Crocodile to do the grading.
To do the grading.
Yeah,
And the same thing shows up if they get like a message,
Yes.
you know, a feedback message. There's that same little icon
Right.
on it. It's hard to see. So I
Yeah,
think,
it's not big.
you know,
It's really not much bigger than that. It's over to the right-hand side, and it's got a magnifying glass on it. You click on that, and that takes you in. I've done many screen captures with big red arrows pointing to it. You know, so once you get used to knowing what to click on, then it's easy. But that first time, people tend to click either on the name or the icon next to the name, and that just downloads the file.
Right.
Yeah.
and I have worked with a professor who has used Google Docs for keeping track of 25 different group projects that were service learning, and they each had a task list they had to go through, and she wanted to be able to, at any given time, check on the groups to make sure they were progressing in their tasks. And so we set up 25 Google Docs that each one was delivered to each student group. She was still on Blackboard, so now we can connect that, even though we already built it, we can connect it to Canvas. So it'll be nice for her.
So, yeah, you know, and it's one thing talking, it's like driving a car, right? We can talk about it all you want, and you just got to go in and try it out. And the student view stuff is useful, really, to go in and test it. But I switched to Canvas last quarter and started doing this peer review stuff, and it's really wonderful. It's made a big difference.
Thank you.
So the Canvas has the pages, which work as individual wikis, but you can't control access to those. Those are available to everybody in the class.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, the way it works is pages, so I can show them. Pages, think of them as sort of your individual sort of work area. You can create a page, and if I come in, I'll open one of these up.
I guess I'm suggesting that if you had everyone in the class that wanted to collaborate on a document, you could use one of the internal pages there.
You could, but I would play. Okay, so pages you can work on, and they're just editable pages. The problem is they're just sitting in a big lump. The best way to do that is to use modules and place them into modules. You can create a page, and then you can place the page in a module. That typically is what works best, right? Because modules, they can be organized, you can arrange them any way you like. Pages are just sort of scattered all over the place. So I tell people, make your pages, use that as like a workspace, to just hide it. Don't make that available to the student. What you make available to students is the modules, because they're much more flexible, you can do a lot more with them. You know, so that's the place where you present, is in the modules. Now, you can present a page if you want, you have to go one.
So you can link a page there. They just wouldn't find it under the...
Right, so what I did in the SWAT Canvas, I went over to modules. The second one right here, that's a page inserted into a module. Even though I've got the pages hidden so the students can't get to them, I don't have the modules hidden, so when I place it in there, they can get to it there. All right, so it's still available. It's just I don't want them going into Pages. What happens if they go into Pages? They tend to look around and they don't know what they're looking at. And frankly, I have a bunch of pages that are not, like I make stuff and then I make another one and I get old versions and stuff. So it's my private space.
So on that document in Pages, you have settings at the bottom that you can tell it how to share or not share.
Yeah, I'm going to open this one up. So this one, go to the page. By default, let me edit it. Right here at the bottom, who can edit the page? By default, it's only teachers. If you just click on this and change it to teachers and students, it becomes a wiki. So that's all it takes to make a wiki page.
So somebody could actually go in and make a bunch of blank pages.
Yep.
And then insert them into a module.
Yep.
And then the students could go in and drop their own stuff down, beyond and that.
Right. Yeah. Just give them a name or something like that, you know.
Group 1,
Group
Group 2.
1.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next time, we'll be talking about plagiarism
Here goes
detection tools.
Sure.
So Tasha, is it?
Yes.
You probably want to be there.
Yeah.